Alright, so first we're going to go over some of the areas on the clavicle and the different ends of the clavicle. First up, you have your acromial end, which is over out here. Then you have your sternal end, which attaches to the sternum over here. So from there, let's look at the scapula. So the scapula is this structure here. So first off, let's the coracoid process. That is this part right here, just sticking out right there is the coracoid process. Sorry, the little thing fell off the stand. That's the coracoid process right there. And then you have the subscapular fossa, which is this smooth, soft area over here. And then you have your glenoid. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. You have your glenoid cavity, which is right underneath the coracoid process, right over here. And then let's spin it around, and you have your spine right here in the back, and you have your acromion, which is right up here. And then you have your supraspinous fossa, spinous because right here near the spine. And then from there you have your infraspinous fossa, which is down here. And then you have your sternoclavicle joint, which is right up it is right up here. So you can kind of see it's coming up near the sternum. And then you have your acromioclavicular joint, which is right over here. So those are the different areas of the scapula. Alright, so now we're going to go over some of the areas on the arm. So first up, we have our humerus, which is this large, thick bone right here. Then we have our the head, which is up at the top. From there, we have our greater tubercle, which is the larger one back here. And then we have our lesser tubercle, which is right in front of it, right here. From there, we have our deltoid tuberosity, which is right down here. From there, we have our medial epicondyle, which is right here, right near the, if you can see that, right near the elbow. And then we have our lateral epicondyle, which is on the outside of that, right over here. And then from there, we have our coronoid fossa, which, if you see, it's just this little area right here. And then we have our capitulum, which is right on the inside over here, with then our trochlea right over here. And then the capitulum, that articulates the head of the radius, and the trochlea, that articulates the head of the ulna. And then we have our olecranon, which is also down right here in the elbow area, the fossa, and what that does is it the olecranon is right where the fossa is as well. So that's how that one works right there for the arms. Alright, so this is the forearm, which is down here. So first off, let's start off with the ulna, which is on this side with the pinky. So that's the ulna. The olecranon, once again, it's the top right here. The coronoid process, so that's at the top of the ulna, and that's right around here. And then the styroid process is right down here. And then I guess also styroid process is down here as well. So and then we have our radius, which is right here, which is connected on the thumb side. You have the head of the radius, which is at the very top. You have the radial tuberosity, which is right here. And then the radial tuberosity, then you have your styroid process, which is at the bottom right there. So now we're going to go over some of the bone structures within the actual hand. So first off, we have our proximal row, which is the very back row. With that, we have the, so here's the thumb side right over here. Here's pinky side over here. So on that, we have our scaphoid, we have our lunate, we have our triquetral, and we have our pisiform right at the end. And then the next row up is we have our distal. And on the distal row, we have the we have the trapezium, the trapezoid, the capitate, and the hamati right here, right up in that area right there. So those are those bones. The trapezium helps form the joint with the pollex, which is the thumb. So that's what gives you that joint there. In terms of the metal carpals, those are right up here. And then you have your phalanges, which are towards the very, very end of your fingers. So, alrighty, so I'm going to be going over the pelvic girdle and the coxal bone. So pretty much the first question related to the three bones that fuse in order to form, during development of skeleton, form the coxal bone. Pretty much you have your ilium up top, then you have your ischium right below, and then your pubic below that. So those are the three bones that fuse in order to form the coxal bone in development. So the first area that we're going to look at is the acetabulum, and that's right where kind of the femur connects in there. So that's where that is. The pubic symphysis, that is right in the middle, right there. And then you have your obturator foramen, and that is right, if you see right underneath, it's right here. That's where the obturator foramen is. The iliac crest is right up top. And then the anterior superior spine, if you see it, it's right here. And then the iliac fossa we have right here. And then the greater sciatic notch, if you look inside, it'd be right up in here. And then we have our ischial spine, which is, ischial spine is right down here, kind of near that screw a little bit. And then we have our ischial tuberosity, and that is right down, the ischial tuberosity is right down up in here. So those are the bones down in that region. Alrighty, so we're going to be going over some of the femur bone parts. First up, we have the femur head, which is up top right here. Then we have the greater trochanter, which is right here, with the lesser one right here. And then we have the abductor tubercle, which is down here. That's this area right here. Then we have the medial epicondyle, which is right below that, followed by the lateral epicondyle, which is right here. Then we have the medial and lateral condyle, which is right here at the bottom, right near the connection and the joint. And then we have our patella, which is right up front. Alright, so now we're going to go over some of the parts on the tibia, which is also known as the shin bone right here. So the first thing let's do is we'll look at the medial and the lateral condyle. So if you look up here, they're right at the very, very top of the bone right here, the medial and the lateral condyle. From there we have our tibial tuberosity, which is right up front. So you have that right there. From there we have our medial malleus, which is at the very bottom of it, right over here. And then we have our proximal joint, which is up here, and then our distal joint, which is down here. So that is the tibia. So now if we look at the fibula, we have our head up at the very top, the head of the fibula, and then we have our lateral malleolus down here at the bottom. So that's that. So now if we start to look at the tarsus, which is the foot. So the tarsus down here, first up, let me make sure that the camera has it in good view. Perfect. All right, so the tarsus, which is also the foot, first up we have our talus, which the talus is, it's hard to see because it's covered by this bone right here, but it's right under here is the talus up the very top. Then we have the calcaneus, which is the heel. And then we have our cuboid. So this is the little toe here, and we have our cuboid, which is right here. From there, we have our navicular, which the navicular is actually right up here. That's the navicular right there. And then we have our medial, which is up here. This is our medial right here. And then we have our metatarsus. And the metatarsus is actually right here is the metatarsus. And then we have our phalanges. I love that word. Which is up the top right here is the phalanges. And then we have our halix, and the halix is right. The halix is the halix is right at the top tip of the toes of the great toe right here. Sorry, the halix is right here. So those are the bone legs.